As some of you might know, I've dealt with some very severe health anxiety for about 5 years, and I also know that everyone thinks that they're dealing with the worst anxiety ever. But when I say I had severe anxiety, I mean it got so freaking bad that my entire body was completely off and firing up so many different aches and sensations all the time, which then led to me going to seek reassurance from dozens of doctors multiple times over. It never stopped and was one long and continuous cycle that went on for many years. At my lowest, I was so assured that I must have something severe happening to me, be it cancer, MS, some kind of heart disease, Lyme disease, stroke, you name it, but that simply nobody could properly diagnose what I'm dealing with. I thought doctors didn't check this or that because I'm too young, didn't do a specific test because I looked too fit and healthy to possibly be dealing with a certain disease and so on. So I thought that in order to be on the safe side and keep me alive, I myself would have to do all the research and see if there's even the slightest chance that it could be something very serious. Actually, forget about the if it could be something serious. Back then, I thought I knew and was genuinely convinced I was severely sick and about to die. So my entire day was structured around listening in and finding little clues or hints that could lead me to finding that missing puzzle piece that I then could inform my many doctors of, finally making them believe and take me seriously. This, you could almost call it mission and determination, led to me being curled up in bed for the most of my days, letting life slip by, just constantly scrolling through my phone, googling all the different kinds of symptoms and what they could mean. Everything was only about the symptoms. I couldn't feel joy because my entire body was one big ache. I had no sleep, and besides, who could enjoy anything if one just knew that you could be facing a severe health scare any second from now? It's so hard to put into words, but my entire life was simply all about always being prepared for the worst thing that was just about to happen. And being this mentally tense will obviously lead to being hyper aware of everything going on with your body. Plus, you will just automatically be super tensed up. So there will always be something that aches, pinches, feels tingly, or even feels numb. You all know what I'm talking about. So combine that with your already laser-like focus on finding something abnormal, no matter how small, and you have the perfect setup for panic attack after panic attack. And when you overcome that phase, or you've gotten so used to the panic attacks, you somehow remain in that constant tense, afraid, and aware state, which in a way is actually so much worse than having a few panic attacks a day. And that's where I was stuck for so many years, and I know that many of you are too. I am telling you guys all this because I want you all to know that no matter how extreme or how real symptoms can feel, they still can be a sign of anxiety. That was one of the biggest obstacles for me to overcome this, because I was always so sure that what I'm going through is just way too real, way too extreme to be just anxiety related. And you know what? I managed to overcome this whole anxiety thing, and with that all the symptoms disappeared as well. Really all of them. Not all at once, but slowly and steadily they got milder and milder, and mentally I got stronger as well. And when it comes to recovering from anxiety, my videos often sound like I just got up one day being so determined and was so fired up to work on recovering from anxiety. It may appear like recovery was my mission, but when I'm being honest here, that wasn't the case at all. My recovery was mostly a result of many things coming together that luckily for me were all some of the best stress coping mechanisms of all time. You know what I mean. The things that I or basically all other anxiety channels talk about. Exercise, meditation, journaling, going on with life despite symptoms, exposure, surrounding yourself with good and positive people, and all that fun stuff. So that is why I keep preaching these actions on this channel. But now I notice that some might get the wrong impression or approach it the wrong way. Actually, I know that many do that. When you start implementing these indeed helpful and aiding techniques into your life, you will need a lot more reason to do so than just for the sake of recovery or getting rid of symptoms. Back then, that wasn't even really on my mind, and I actually only realized that I was getting better a lot later, and only when looking back because the whole process was so slow. When my anxiety issues were the worst, I did try most of the techniques I preach, but always with the sole intention of getting rid of my symptoms. That was the only reason why I did them. Nothing else. I pretty much forced myself and was disheartened right away after seeing no results, and eventually always gave up. Now I realize that probably one of the most counterproductive things you can do is work on these techniques and see them as some kind of coping mechanism or anxiety relief techniques. This they are not. Like with everything anxiety recovery related, you kind of need to have the big picture in mind. Don't tell yourself that you will get this or that done so that you can kick anxiety in the butt, but add small little tweaks into your day that you know will make you happier and more confident in the long run. You do not want to be stuck in that mindset that you have to get rid of your anxiety first so that you can start improving your life. When there is one thing that I learned was that anxiety recovery was so much more passive. It was the result of me building up myself, forming a life I'm proud of, and a physique I was happy about. Everything else just came along with it. Don't make recovery yet another stressor in your life. This might sound very harsh and perhaps even a bit disheartening, but I do not believe that there is one thing or a combination of things that you can implement today to find some kind of anxiety relief. It's all about digging yourself out of this anxiety hole bit by bit by increasing your confidence and feeling of fulfillment, one barely noticeable step at a time. By doing so, before you notice it, you'll be able to look back and also notice how far you've actually come. And that recovery is basically just around the corner, just like I did.